the bloody coolant is coming out of the sump. Oh my. I missed the bucket. Well, I've got the new engine for the Fiesta. I was hoping it would come with a new timing belt on it. Sometimes they do. I haven't been lucky this time. The crank bolt won't come out either. It's flipping tight. So I'm going to heat it up and it will come out with a bit of heat, I know. I've still got to take the engine out though. But I have the drive shafts out. Sometimes they can seize in the hubs, but they come out quite easily, luckily. I shan't touch it because that's freaking hot. Holly. That pulley is stuck on friggin' tight, I know. I'll tackle that later. But we have the setting bar in the back of the camshafts and our timing pin for the crankshaft, so everything's timed up perfectly fine. I'm going to replace this cam belt and the water pump, and also because I put the setting bar in the back and I removed the rocker cover, brand new gasket, because these old gaskets after time, usually by 100,000 miles, they shrink and they go flat, and then the oil leaks past the gasket all down the back of the engine and all, well, everywhere actually. Makes a right mess. So I did make a video on replacing the timing belt on one of these Fiesta engines, so maybe I'll link that in the description up top. By the way, I just want to say we have a lovely Ford Cougar here that's gaining a new back box. It completely snapped off where it goes in here. The funny thing is, these two tailpipes, I'll put it on wide angle, that one there, you see that how it comes out at an angle like that, whereas on the driver's side it comes out straight. It's a bit bizarre, but it still goes on. Fits on nicely, and that will go up like that once I get the clamp on it. Well, all good, all bolted up. Only one small problem. It's got a dead leg. The part supplier, they've given me one clamp short. So I suppose I better get on the blower to them and get myself a new clamp ordered. Yes, indeedy. The blooming threads on these track arms are really not in a very good condition. So with a bit of heat, a couple of hammers and some freeing oil, I finally managed to free them off enough, them nuts that is, so I can adjust the tracking. The reason I need to adjust the tracking, need I say more? And just in case you're wondering, that pulley, which is on frickin' tight, there's nothing like a good old hydraulic puller to remove it, bit by bit. I can hear it go doot, doot, doot. It's coming. It's just a slow process with this puller because it's a bit old and there's not much oil in it. Yeah, bingo. We've had the centre and rear exhaust sections on a Cougar. Vauxhall Astra, free off the flipping seized track rod in lock nuts. and we've got the tyres to change yet. Fiesta, there's the new engine, which we're putting a cam belt on at the minute, and the old one we've just managed to get the subframe off, complete with the steering rack. I just want to point something out here on these Fiestas. Them subframes are held on by 4 bolts. The 2 up here, up just above the drive shafts, have got these E-bit bolts. You've got to be very, I wouldn't put an air gun on that. You use that with a bar, do it very carefully. There's a hole in the chassis, you can spray oil to get oil down the thread. Because otherwise you can actually, these can spin, the captive nut in there can spin. Then you'll be in a lot of trouble. One of these come out really well, the other one come out pretty tricky, so luckily with a bit of oil it come out. Anyway, we're banging on for long enough. Kit Kat time. That's a leaf blower, or sucker should I say. Anyway, before I put this rocker cover back on, that's it. The cam belt's on, the water pump's on, all timed up and all ready to rock and roll. So, and I did fit a new set of spark plugs, by the way. I don't know why on a Fiesta of all cars they have to put a metal casing with a shear bolt over the ECU plug. Well, I've just done the tyres and tracking on this Corsa, and I just drove it across the yard and put my foot on the brake, and literally the whole car just lurches to the right. It's absolutely flipping well dangerous. I'll just try and brake here and watch that front end. That even skidded just there. That's how bad it is. So I'm just going to pull in and check this on the brake rollers now. Whoa, this is seriously got a serious issue. Right, this is the front wheels of this Corsa. Holy crap. Oh my God, that is bad. So I'd say the driver's wheel was working well, but the passenger brake, it's like it got a delayed reaction, I don't know. So I would say it's possibly the brake caliper, more than likely, or the brake hose. If it's not that, we've got a problem with the ABS system. I hope not. Do you know what? It's all flooding back to me now. I've come across this problem before on Corsas. I've taken the caliper off, and the piston in the caliper, although this caliper looks a piece of crap, the piston's working fine, no problem at all. I loosened before I loosened the brake nipple, if I put my foot hard on the brake, the pedal was good. If I loosen this, I wanted to know whether it's actually a brake hose problem, an ABS problem, or a caliper problem. So I loosened the nipple, put my foot on the brake, and next to nothing come out. So I've now disconnected the brake hose from the caliper altogether. The brake hose is here. So if you hold that on there, Tyler, I'm going to put my foot on the brake, okay? I'm going to put my foot hard on the brake. Brake fluid should literally be dripping out of that hose right now. So keep it on that hose.
Moment of truth. Yep. It's coming out.
I was pressing really hard, okay? I was pressing really hard on the brake pedal, and what's come out of there is naff all, really. That should be literally pissing out. This, to me now, I don't even think it's the brake hose. This is the ABS unit. I think it's a common problem. So we're going to have to get the ABS pump off and get it sent away. I've had this before a number of times on Corsas, where I think it's either the driver's front or the passenger front brake stops working altogether, absolutely zero. So yeah, not a good one. Going to be an expensive one for the customer, that's for sure. Flipping noisy git. Look, it's tied with a broken arm. We nearly averted a crisis. No, we did avert a crisis. That bolt there goes through into the subframe, but there's no way of getting to the captive nut at the back, which is in there. Bolt goes through into there. There's not even a hole in the subframe to get any oil onto the thread, and that bolt nearly never come out, did it? We were hanging off a scaffold pole to undo that. I thought it was going to snap. I literally thought the bolt was going to snap and we'd have to get a new subframe or cut the subframe open to get onto the nut. Well, but we didn't, it come out.
Luckily, Lady Luck is on our side.
Totally boring. See ya. Oh. Anyway, cracking on. This is the bit I absolutely hate. Swapping all the bits from one engine to the other. The reason being, I'm constantly squatting down. Up, down, up, down, up, down. But we're getting there. Luckily on this Fiesta, there isn't really that much to swap over. Everything on this Cougar is tight. Actually the easiest one to come out. The reason we take the drive shaft out is so you can pull the hub enough to get the arm in straight, because if the arm's going in like that, it's hard to get these bolts through. But if you get it in straight, you can put the bolt straight through. Just thought I'd let you know that. Anyway, carry on. Whatever happened to this engine, I do not know. But flipping heck, there is literally water coming out of number 3 exhaust port. So I bet you that's been really badly overheated. All back together. Cam belt, water pump, brand new auxiliary belt. I used the old clutch because that was still good. But all the wiring, all the hoses, everything is boom, from that old engine back onto this one. No dramas, which will now hoist it in and away we go. Holly. The oil's in, the oil filter's on, the coolant's in. Yuck. Moment of truth, eh? Take two, take two. Yeah, I forgot to bleed the clutch. Anyway, that's it. I haven't touched it now. I'm going to turn the key for the first time and see if it goes. So once again, 4 litres of oil, coolant, clutch is bled. All I've got to do is top the gearbox oil up. But I'll start the engine first and see if it runs. So, I think we've got a flat battery. I think we've got a flat battery. It's definitely a flat battery.
This is take 5.
Right. This could be take 10 for all I care. We have the battery connected up to the battery charger. Flipping, well, we'll have to obviously buy a battery for this because I reckon that's knackered. Anyway, let's see how we go. We have ignition lights. So in 3, 2, 1, the jump lead's not making good earth.
Car starting in 3, 2, 1. Yay!
That was an engine out of a breaker's yard, although it's from Rawn's and they always supply us with really good engines. We've never had to send one back to them. They've always sent us good engines. First flick of the key, I mean that engine hardly turned over a quarter of a turn and it fired up. Personally, I think it's due to me fitting the timing belt on just perfect, putting new spark plugs in. It just didn't want to piss me around, that's all it comes down to. I didn't even have to bleed coolant. That's taken nearly a full watering can full of coolant, that has. So I reckon that'll run straight up. Anyway, I'm going to run it up and then I'm going to top the gearbox all up, give it a run around the yard, then if the wheels don't fall off, then I'll go down to the roundabout and back. How's that sound?
Sounds lovely.
Happy days. Cut. Just want to point this out because this is really important and pretty serious. This engine that we just replaced has been overheated badly. So the head is no doubt warped to hell. This engine we just put in is a good engine, but I just run the engine up, and as I was running it up, the coolant level started to rise in the bottle and the cooling fan came on permanently, which shouldn't be happening. So I thought there's something not quite right here and it started to pressurise a little bit. And I've had this before. This pipe here, it goes from the back of the cylinder head and comes around to here. And when I pulled this bit of pipe off the expansion bowl, there was no water coming out of it. So I took this pipe off and tried blowing through it, and I couldn't blow through it, it's blocked. And I believe these are a common problem on these Fords, these little bleed off pipes. So I put a new bleed off pipe on it, and just to show you, if I run it just here, if I pull this off, you'll see water coming out of it. There was absolutely zero water coming out of that pipe. And when these pipes are on the engine and you start the car up, because the water pump's spinning, it will push the water through that pipe and in there, and it will get all the air out the back of the cylinder head. And if that's blocked, like it was, you can't get the air out the back of the cylinder head, so it's heating up too much, and that's why it's bringing on the fans. The engine's getting too hot. So I've had this a few times now. So I believe this pipe here, this little plastic pipe, was the cause, the sole cause of that engine being completely destroyed. And if I hadn't caught it in time, it would have destroyed this engine as well. It would have overheated it. So I just thought I'd point that out. Anyway, I've banged on enough about it. Cut. What you got there, Tyler? Condom?
Condom, giant snot string, a wriggly work.
Oh, That is a filter for a windscreen washer pump on a Focus. The washers weren't working, obviously. So,
Yuck.
that's a right grolly, isn't it? Well, a lovely Corsa with the braking issue. I've just taken the ABS pump off. Which I have here. So I'm now going to box this up, send it off to ECU testing and see if they can fix it. You know, this smart car, it only just fitted on the ramp. ABS sensor is faulty, and flipping it, the length of the wire on this sensor is like, I'm what, 5'7", something like that. If I put that on the floor, that that's more than 6 feet long. Well, guess what my next job is? Ta-ra! That's an oil cooler on a Vauxhall Zafira. And actually somebody was asking, mechanics these days, nobody ever uses freeing oil anymore or grease on the old nuts and bolts, they just put them back in dry. Well, sorry, but yes, I do use grease. There's a bolt with a thread. What-ah, there you go. That will come out a lot easier now. There. See? Look, freeing oil. One pussy. By the way, I don't like doing exhausts. Things tend to snap like studs. And exhaust clamps. That's broke. Now I need to order a new one. Ta-ra! Just like magic. Remember the Ford Focus I put the you know what in? Let me explain. I know you want to hear if it's worked or not. I put this steel seal in the cooling system on a Monday. It's now Saturday. I've been driving this car to and from work to home, like 4 miles either way, every day of the week. For the first few days, every time I got home or got back here to the garage, the cooling fan would be on, which says to me that the cooling system's pressurising, the engine's getting too hot, and that it's not working. So that steel seal to me wasn't working. By the way, this car, originally, this hose here, which we had on that other Fiesta, this was blocked. I'd unblocked this hose. It's nice and hot now, but that was stone cold before, and this is the reason I reckon why the head gasket got damaged. But anyway, I've been driving this car for a whole week now, and the last few days I haven't heard the cooling fan come on. I've just been for a 4-mile run in this car, and originally, after a run, the top radiator hose would be quite tight, where it's got a lot of pressure in it. And there isn't that much pressure, I can squeeze the hose in. So I'm going to undo the cap. Yeah, there was just a little shh like that, just a little one that you would expect. But no, normally if the head gasket's gone in, put a lot of pressure in there and it'll blow all the water out, or it'll seriously overflow. But with a 4-mile run, there's next to nothing in the way of pressure. So, on the face of things, I would say at the moment, the jury is out. But, as things stand, it does look like steel seal, permanent repair in minutes. Well, I think it took a few days, not bloody minutes, but it does appear to be working. There's hardly any pressure building up in the cooling system now, and there was a lot before. The temperature gauge stays a little bit below normal, below halfway. The heater is lovely and hot. There's no running issues. Everything would appear to be fine. So, steel seal, you might be a winner. Might be, that is. But if there's any change, I'll be the first to let you know. We'll leave it at that for the time being. You know, I almost phoned up the parts supplier and asked for a length of rope so I could hang myself. I swear to God, this oil filter housing and oil cooler was an absolute ass to get out. The manifold and turbo should come off, but it's not coming off. Guess why? Because the nuts on these studs, I got one off, they ain't coming off. They all feel like they're gonna snap. I soaked them in freon oil, but I can't wait, you know. So I thought I'd unbolt the oil cooler from underneath. All I had to do, my change of tactics, was to unbolt the air conditioning pump. I left the pipes on it, it just pushes out the way. That gave me access to get underneath, because on the new oil cooler, when it's bolted onto the engine, like so, 3 bolts, there's another pipe that goes behind the air conditioning pump, goes in there with an O-ring. So I needed to get to access to that. By taking the air conditioning pump out the way, which it does, I can now remove that pipe, which I've done, 3 bolts, pull it out of the engine there, but trying to wriggle this out was an absolute nightmare with the manifold in place. I managed to just do it. There's one particular way you can route it out, and it does come out, but you have to take this pipe off as well, because that bracket gets in the way. But it comes out. So I'm gonna go and have a strong cup of coffee now. Well, that's it. I thought I'd stick a few clips together for this week to show you what I've done. But generally speaking, most of my time is actually spent doing MOT tests, as you can see. The trouble is, I don't mind doing MOTs, but when you do 8 in one day, you're literally brain dead. My head is like numb. But anyway, it is what it is. I can't even give you anything interesting. You know, like when you fail somebody's car, sometimes there's something really freaking horrific gone wrong with it. Well, I haven't even got anything like that. I think the only thing that's actually quite funny is this guy came in. I can't even remember what car it was. It was a few weeks back. It was either a Toyota Yaris or a Honda Jazz or something like that. When I got to looking at the rear brake hoses, the rubber flexible ones, he had sellotaped them up with black insulation tape. And I looked at them and I thought, you've got to be freaking shitting me here. And obviously, I thought, let's untape it, let's have a look. So I took all the tape off. You know what you're going to see, don't you? The actual hoses were completely split through to the white inner cords. And I said, mate, there is no way I can pass that. And he goes, well, the customer asked me to do that. I said, I don't care what the customer asked you to do. I'm not passing that car with flipping sellotape around your brake hoses. Go and put some new hoses on it. For God, that's about as good as it got here. But anyway, if I do find anything that's seriously interesting or majorly wrong with a car that's really worth like videoing, I will film it and I will show you. But nothing that interesting at the minute. Anyway, that's the end of the video, so I'm going to do one now. So I hope you enjoy what I've done anyway, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.